anyone remember what yesterday was?
No.
What was yesterday? What was yesterday? It was President's Day. Does anyone know what I'm dressed up as? I know my hat doesn't fit, but I made it special for us today. Something different. Landon? What am I dressed up as? Look at the hat. Do you recognize the hat? If I had a beard, oh, it would be a huge beard.
Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln.
George Washington.
George Washington didn't wear a hat.
I'm flying.
I'm going to be reading us a story. Do you guys want to sit up on the carpet?
Yeah. I could change that quick. Whoa! Is that the paper? Look at that. Air.
Make sure we're sitting on our bottoms. Today we're going to be reading about Abraham Lincoln. And then there's a few vocab words in here that we'll go over, and I want you guys to pay attention for them. But before we do that, what do we know about Abraham Lincoln? Who can tell me? I know we talked about it a little bit last week. What do we know about Abraham Lincoln?
He started the Civil War.
Yes. Anything else? Anything else? Raise your hands high. What do you remember about Abraham Lincoln?
He was the 16th president.
Yes, he was. One more. What do you remember about Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln is on the penny.
He is on the penny. These are great. We're going to learn a few more things about Abraham Lincoln. So I want you to listen very close, hands down. We can ask questions afterwards. Thank you. I want you to listen very closely to this, and we're going to remember what new things we learned about today. But before we start that, I'm going to go over some vocab words. Our vocab words are lawyer. Does anyone know what a lawyer is? Some guesses. What does a lawyer do?
They go in the army.
No, not close. But we're going to get to that. What's some more vocab words? Let me take a look. A politician. We're going to figure out what a politician does. There's one more. The Union and Civil War. So we're going to learn more about those. Let's get started. A much-loved president. Who's on the penny and the $5 bill? It's Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States. Lincoln is an important man in America's history. A country boy. Lincoln was born in a one-room log cabin in Kentucky on February 12, 1809. He grew up in Indiana. Lincoln read lots of books. He wanted to go to school, but there was too much work to be done on his family's farm. He chopped down trees, built fences, and plowed the land. He grew strong and very tall. Lincoln was kind and a good storyteller. Has anyone seen a log cabin?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of us?
I have one.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep going. Growing up, all his life, Lincoln taught himself how to do things. He learned how to read and write, tell stories, and give speeches. Here's a fun fact. We want to be looking at me using our listening ears. I want you all to pay attention to our vocab words, listen closely, and remember a fun fact that you learned today. Here's a fun fact. Lincoln was an inventor. He had an idea for a machine that helps ships float over sandbars. Bless you. Lincoln learned how to fix machines. He taught himself how to pilot a riverboat and how to be a soldier. He even studied law and became a lawyer, all on his own. What did we just hear?
Lawyer.
Lawyer is one of our vocab words. A lawyer is a person that gives advice about the law. So if we get in trouble or if we have to know know something about the law, we go to a lawyer and they help us. In his time, in the 1800s, many things were different than they are today. Let's talk about how money was different. A pair of shoes cost $1. A quart of milk cost 10 cents. That doesn't sound like much, but dollars and dimes were worth a lot more back then. Why is that different? What do we know? Like, how did money change? In the past, a shoe cost $1.
Shoe cost $1?
A pair of shoes cost $1. How much do shoes cost now? Do we have any guesses? Do you have a guess, Ethan? $5. I would love.
He shops.
Yeah, I would love a pair of shoes for $5. I have one more. Yes.
$3.99.
$3.99. Well, a pair of shoes usually cost around $20. So we can see the drastic increase.
You would get a pair of nice.
I know. I wish I was born in the 1800s too because of that.
You would get a nice pair of Vans. They would be like $24,000.
Let's keep listening. Everyone, let's keep listening. Toys. In their free time, children played hopscotch and leapfrog. They also played with marbles, dolls, and toy trains. So even back then, they were still playing like us. They might have not had all the gadgets and iPhones or technology, but they played outside just like us.
They have one of his friends. They used to have one of his friends that Miss Clegman had over there, but they didn't. Yeah, they also used to have.
Let's keep reading.
No.
Oh.
We do.
School. Back then, not all children went to school. Those who did learn together were in one-room schoolhouses. Transportation. People walked and traveled by horse-drawn carriages. Trains were used for long trips. There were no cars or airplanes. In U.S. events, California became the 31st state in 1850. The New York Times newspaper started in 1851. That's a very old newspaper. Becoming a leader. In 1842, Lincoln married Mary Todd. They had 4 sons named Robert, Eddie, Willie, and Tad. Lincoln was a good lawyer. People trusted him to make important decisions. So Lincoln became a politician. Lincoln held 2 jobs as a politician for the state of Illinois. Then in 1860, he ran for president. Lincoln won. He became the what president? What number president is he? I just heard it. You just said before at the beginning. The 16th president. But I just heard one of our vocab words. Did anyone listen closely for it?
Lawyer.
Oh, we did talk about lawyer. It's politician now. A politician is a person who runs a town, city, state, or country. We also hear people running for like different offices, like a mayor. They're politicians. Oh, and here's some fun facts about Lincoln. Let's see. The Lincoln penny looked the same as it did in 1909, with Lincoln on the head side. Let's see. Ooh, this is a fun one. Lincoln kept important papers in his stovepipe hat. This kept his head warm and his papers dry on rainy days. Oh, do I have any papers in here?
Yeah.
I don't have any papers in here. I have tape in here.
No, you have some paper in there because the whole pad's made of.
Slavery. During Lincoln's time, some white people owned black slaves. The first slaves were brought to America from Africa. They were stolen from their families and sold to people who used them to do work. Slaves did not get paid and had to obey their owners. Slaves did not have any rights. They often were treated very very badly. Many people were slaves because their parents were slaves. Those who tried to escape, let's not talk during this. Thank you. Those who tried to escape were often caught. Most slaves would never be set free. People all over the country disagreed about slavery. Many people in the South wanted slaves to work on their large farms. Most people in the North worked in cities and thought slavery was wrong. Lincoln was against slavery and told people it needed to end. So what else do we know about Lincoln? What did he stop? What did Lincoln stop?
I thought
Christian?
slavery.
He ended slavery.
Martin Luther King did that.
Civil War. In 1861, 11 southern states broke away from the United States, which was also called the Union. These states did not want to be a part of the Union because most of the Union wanted slavery to end. The country began a long and bloody Civil War. Many people died. The next vocab word we have is Civil War, which is a war between people of the same country. So if we see by this image, you see that line that cuts straight across?
Yeah.
The South wanted slavery, and the North, the Union, did not. So they were fighting each other to end slavery. PA is right up here, so we would have been in the Union or the North. Families disagreed and broke apart. Sometimes brothers fought on opposite sides. Some slaves escaped to the North to fight for freedom. Many people on both sides died. In 1863, Lincoln freed slaves in 10 states, but the war continued. Months later, he gave his most famous speech, the Gettysburg Address. The Gettysburg Address. Abraham Lincoln stood on the battlefield where thousands had died to end slavery. Everyone. I'm waiting on you, okay? Abraham Lincoln stood on the battlefield where thousands of people died to end slavery. He said that the country began with the idea that all people should be free. People listened to Lincoln's powerful words. In 1865, after many more battles, the South surrendered. The North had won. The long, terrible war was over. Lincoln's life. Lincoln left behind a free country. The Union had been saved, and over time, Lincoln became one of the most beloved American presidents. Each year, many people visit the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and the Lincoln Presidential Library in Springfield, Illinois. I don't know why I have such a hard time with that. When Obama was sworn in as America's first black president, he used the same Bible that Lincoln used. Has anyone been to the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.? Anyone remember? A few of us? I haven't been. It's on one of my bucket lists.
What's a bucket?
Bucket list is something that you want to do. It's a list.
I know this.
Okay, everyone.
It's a list that you want to do before you die.
Let's all be quiet. I want us to close our eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to think about what we just read. What is one thing that you learned? I don't want you to say it. I want you to think about it. We're going to give everyone a few more seconds. What's one thing you learned today? Okay, I'm going to choose one person to share one new thing that they learned today. What's one thing you learned today? One new thing. It's okay if you forget. What's one new thing you learned today?
That the South surrounded Earth and the North one.
Yes!
That's
very nice. Let's all go back to our seats. I have something I want us to do